UBC, inspiring Uganda. Up next.
Yes, a very good evening to you tuned into UBC TV. We thank you so much for watching and welcome to News Tonight this Monday, the 29th of July, 2024. It's me, Micheal Lukomwa. We'll start with President Yoweri Museveni in our first story, and he has asked the church to avoid infiltration that can sabotage the prevailing peace and security across the country. He said the beginning of the church in Uganda was faced with several resistances from the governments of the time, and that this was because of ideological misconceptions. President Museveni made the remarks in a speech delivered by Vice President, retired Major Jessica Lupo, at the closure of a week-long gospel crusade in Fort Portal.
I believe that all has been by the grace of God upon our nation and region, and to see that we prosper, develop, and keep the banner of the Word of God high according to His will and plans for this nation. We therefore have reason to gather here and showcase the great works of God in word and in deed to the people in Fort Portal. I appreciate Pastor Imelda Namtebi Kula for the call of duty to shepherd God's people in her church, and I commend you for taking the gospel out of the buildings and performing gospel outreaches. The NRM government has successfully transformed the minds and understanding of Ugandans. We are now ready and are waging a war on idleness and poverty, especially amongst the youth in Uganda. When we launched the armed struggle, our aim was to build a new political order that prioritizes peace, security, and development, and the results can openly be seen today. I am glad this nation is blessed with God-fearing people, and we must all take on the mantle to serve God, pray and work hard for our nation, basing on God's principles of righteousness and justice to all mankind. The church in Uganda must position itself to participate actively in the socio-economic transformation of our society. Our preachers should therefore learn the science of transmitting God's words in the most digestible and practical manner to fulfill the economic vision of this country. It is indeed written in the scripture that my people perish due to lack of knowledge. While the church has played its spiritual role and been a good partner in development with the government in providing social services and relief to disadvantaged communities, the congregations as well have a part to play in supporting the church in fulfilling its mission. Gone are the days when we used to expect aid or relief from foreign countries to develop ourselves.
First Lady and Minister for Education and Sports, Mrs. Janet Museveni, has said that there should be no further establishment of boarding sections in government-owned and government-granted aided primary and secondary schools implementing the Universal Education Program. Public primary and secondary schools that already had boarding sections prior to joining the Universal Education Program will continue to run such sections. The First Lady, who is also the district chairperson for the NRM party in Ntungamo district, reacted to the issue of public schools establishing boarding sections while interacting with the NRM district executive committee for Ntungamo district.
The First Lady, who is also the district chairperson for the NRM party in Ntungamo district, reacted to the issue of public schools establishing boarding sections while interacting with the NRM district executive committee for Ntungamo district at her country home in Ntungamo district. During the meeting, the DEC members brought to our attention the concern that government schools are forcing primary 6 and primary 7 pupils to become boarders by starting boarding section in primary schools.
Ituhati into the campaigning boarding schools, especially in government schools. We should have no boarding schools in primary or secondary boarding schools. When we nchirecha gamba, nwa jangu they are compulsory. No hoku gambicho. No hoku jangu boarding are compulsory. Abantu nibabani bakora projects zabo aboko bani banda gukora musente bakozesa abana ubundi obushomero bukubi obubwa boarding worukusya every so often abana bakagwamu aboko nibakozesa ebizimbe bitahasirire ebintu byo services zone ziri mu bushomero nizibazigwire kunga bafosinga abana babatamu lero ubundi abana ba ending up nibagwamu mbwe nibyo bigwire bantu.
Mrs. Museveni emphasized that the principle behind the establishment of seed schools is to implement the government's universal education program meant to increase access and affordability of basic education to all citizens. She re-echoed the outcry of many parents and empirical findings by independent researchers that exorbitant school fees and charges are largely attributed to boarding sections in schools. According to the Ntungamo DEC members, some UPE schools in Ntungamo district have made boarding compulsory for primary 7 and primary 6 pupils, with each required to pay up shillings 300,000 or more per term. Mama Janet implored the NRM party leaders in their respective capacities to actively engage in playing their role of being the ears, the eyes, and mouthpiece of the implementation of government programs and utilization of allocated funds.
Mbwena ati mureke twikirizane bajangwa bendemwe barwana noborekane ebintu bazo mu mbuga kurwana kunka umwagumanaja migenzwa atotagumkinare icyo ngicyo abo kuba no bakurwana kubona kunka nabendemwe mbwena mureke twikirizane bantu ngutugume tufokugezaho.
The minister appreciated the feedback from Mr. Sam Chunguzi, the LC5 chairperson of Ntungamo district, regarding the utilization of the shillings 1 billion additional funding to each local government in financial year 2023 to 2024 for the maintenance of roads. The minister also informed the meeting that the Ministry of Education had provided some funding in the current financial year to start patriotism training for students, albeit on a small scale. Reporting for UBC, Baguma William.
Nakawa Chief Magistrates Court has charged 36 Forum for Democratic Change activists with terrorism. The accused were arrested in Kisumu, that is in Kenya, by the Kenyan security operatives, where they were deported back to Uganda on Tuesday last week.
Before Nakawa Chief Magistrates Court appeared 36 arrested Forum for Democratic Change activists. Among was Samuel Makoha, FDC's Secretary Regional Relations, Katanga Faction, Mpuga Henry, Nachibinge Edward, Museveni Innocent, Bukenya Akim, Kayigo Yosia, Lutorondwa Simon, Dr. Okero George, Nkonge Charissa, among others. The group was arrested in Kenya by Kenyan security operatives in Kisumu and later deported. The activists at Nakawa Chief Magistrate's Court appeared before Magistrate Elias Kakoza and were charged with terrorism.
2nd day and 23rd day of July 2024, you all traveled from various places in Uganda to Kisumu in the Republic of Kenya for the purposes of providing or receiving terrorism training.
Since this court has no jurisdictions to try the offense against the accused, prosecution led by Richard Birivumbuka asked court for more time to complete the investigations. Magistrate Elias Kakoza remanded the accused until 13th August 2024 for mention of the case. The accused in court were represented by Baye Tulinamukama and Simon Wanda. Some of the FDC leaders who attended court spoke to us.
You ask yourself, were these people deported from Kenya or they were extradited? Were they, excuse me, we want to hear this from government of Uganda and the government of Kenya. Were these people extradited or deported? So if they had entered Kenya illegally, one, or if they had committed crimes while in Kenya, having entered there legally, they would be subjected to the legal processes of Kenya. They would be taken to the magistrate courts of Kenya.
Why doesn't Kenya arrest that trainer, the one who was going to give them training?
During a press conference last week, Paul Mogisha, the Director Liaison and Protocol from the Office of the President, told the media that the accused were arrested in Kisumu, Kenya, after failing to explain to the Kenya authorities why they had traveled to Kenya. The accused had alleged to have traveled to Kenya for 1 week leadership training. However, Kenyan security arrested and deported them to Uganda. The training was set to start on July 23rd up to 30th at the Ukuli Posto and Leadership Center in Kisumu, Kenya, and later delegates conference that was fixed for August 8, 2024, where the leaders of the party were to be elected. The suspects are said to have been members of FDC Katonga faction, who have been held at Nagalama police station until Monday this week. Prosecution alleges that between 22nd and 23rd July 2024, the group and others still at large traveled to Kenya for the purposes of providing and receiving terrorist training. Deborah Namamonde, Viola Nansubuga, UBC News.
12 out of the 16 suspects who were remanded on charges of common nuisance following the march to the parliament protests have been released on a cash bail of 100,000 shillings each. The 10 appeared before the magistrate, Jalia Basajjabala at Buganda Road Magistrates Court.
The 10 accused persons on charges of common nuisance last week have appeared before Magistrate Jalia Basajjabala through their legal team, asked court to be released on bail by each presenting two sureties.
The first surety is Mr. David Banajo Wasie. He is a long-time friend. Your Honor, both sureties have understood their responsibilities, their leaders, and the able.
This honorable court finds the sureties substantial, but meet the accused person on bail on lenient terms.
They are part of the 16 suspects who are charged and remanded at Buganda Road Magistrates Court. Prosecution led by Safina Nindio didn't object to the accused's bail application.
And we have been served with the supporting documents for the application.
Magistrate Jalia Basajjabala granted them bail.
The accused persons, that is A1 to A9, have been released on bail in the following terms. A, cash bail of shillings 100,000, then court bond in cash 300,000, which is shillings. This offense is bailable. Come back to court.
Due to that he has taken it.
Meanwhile, Magistrate Caroline Choshabire has also granted bail to Brian Magara and Muhweza Eric of 200,000 each and sureties 1 million each non-cash. The accused are also on offences of common nuisance, which offences prosecution alleges that they committed them around Kampala. The accused were arrested from different parts of Kampala on 21st and 23rd July 2024.
I think it is important to thank the members of the Uganda Law Society and the legal team that I'm standing with here today that has worked through the weekend to ensure that every required documentation, the surety documentation is actually bought so that there are no excuses.
We condemn that police took it illegal and trumped up charges against them, which have no merit before the magistrate court.
Court resumed on 29th August 2024. Formation of the case, Deborah Nemamonde, UBC News.
Police has called upon anyone claiming to have been sodomized in police custody to report at any police station for statement recording to aid the investigation. Police spokesperson Rusoke Kituma, while addressing the media at the weekly police briefing at Naguru Police Headquarters, denied any sodomy allegation purported inflicted on the suspects arrested during the March to Parliament demonstrations last week.
In police operations last week, during the March to Parliament protests, at least 104 people were arrested. The police force is accused of using excessive force to counter the protesters.
An arrest is an acceptable action and privilege for police and law enforcement officers. The challenge is when, during the arrest, officers exercise their privileges over and above that is rational and necessary.
There are allegations of torturing suspects, particularly those arrested during the protests. Some protesters claim they were sodomized behind bars.
First and foremost, if we were to get any complaint of this nature, we would certainly not sit on it because it would be a violation of the rights of a suspect. 2, the suspects who came through our hands on the day it is alleged did not spend a night in custody. They came, and as they had been collected, this is the way they were taken to court.
Police claim the allegations are false and are intended to tarnish its image. It, however, urges the purported victims of sodomy to report to the nearest police station.
If there is anybody out there who says he was sodomized, come out and come and report to the police, because there is no other shortcut. We cannot deal with an anonymous victim.
Security have established that some groups fuel anti-corruption protests with ill intentions.
You can tell that there are people behind the 4 we met. That one, we have left it to the public to judge, but for us, we have insisted, and as security forces, we stick to our guns and say we know there are several other people behind this arrangement.
The Standing Security Intelligence predicts more demonstrations, which could warrant maintaining the current deployments in strategic positions.
So if we assess that the threat is still there, we shall maintain deployments that are commensurate with that threat. At the moment, we feel we need to have that deployment.
Police defend allegations of using excessive force to counter the protesters' response being proportionate to the situation. Patricia Nandago and Rogers Kumagum for UBC.
The Federation of Uganda Traders Associations has announced that they will resume their sit-down strike on the 31st of July. Their decision follows President Yoweri Museveni's cancellation of a scheduled meeting with them to discuss pending IFRI's issues due to renovation works at Kololo Independence Grounds.
President Museveni agreed to meet traders on 31st July to address their concerns on IFRS. But Minister for Kampala, Hajat Kabanda, says the president postponed the meeting to August due to the ongoing renovation at Kolo Independence Grounds. Federation of Uganda Traders Association President Kabanda John says the traders are disappointed, citing that there should be alternative channels, such as televised discussions to address their concerns.
Now traders are in a state of confusion. The government has not come up to address their issues, and from now and again, it pushes the date further from the 20th of July, 20th of June, the 31st of July, now to further notes. The traders are in a total state of confusion. They don't know where to run from.
Dictate how the president has to address us, but he has to find a way to address us. We are not just rioting. We just don't choose to demonstrate because we have no reasons. We have reasons, we have pain, and we have aired them out every now and then. So keeping quiet or not responding to us leaves us in a dilemma.
Traders under FOTA have announced that they will close shops starting Wednesday 31st July until their matters are addressed.
They have decided to close their shops on the 31st of July till they hear a word or a directive from the president on issues that were written and drafted in their document that was handed to the president.
So when he responds to us, we shall know whether our wishes are granted or they are not granted, and then we shall know which course to take. Are we withdrawing in business?
Ogenda ku radio, oba ku TV, oba ku social media platforms. Natuwa information yeyo ne tujiwulira emirimu gyaffe ne gisobola okutambula okugenda mu maaso.
Minister Hajat Kabanda has appealed to traders to remain calm as government sets a favorable date for the meeting. Since Uganda Revenue Authority introduced the IFRS invoice systems, traders have cried foul. Mary Namkose, Joseph Moyingo, UBC News.
Uganda Railways Corporation has cautioned the public against vandalizing the newly rehabilitated Campala Monono railway line. David Musokebulega, the acting managing director of the Uganda Railways Corporation, sounded the warning while on a riding test of the Namamve-Mukono phase railway line.
A few years ago, the Minister of Works and Transport put emphasis on revamping the 26.80-kilometer Campala Monono railway line in order to ease traffic congestion. The Campala Monono project was to be carried out in 2 phases and started with works from Kampala to Namamve last year.
Commencement of the project was in February 2022, but it started with the construction of the concrete slipper factory in Kawolo. So the works on the line itself from Kampala to Namamve started on 26th of April 2023, and we completed the Kampala-Namamve section in January 2024.
Phase 2 from Namamve to Mukono commenced this year and the work has reached 90% completion.
Namamve Mukono is about 12.5 or so kilometers. So we started it in February this year, February 2025, around 9th.
Uganda Railways Corporation Acting Managing Director David Musoke, accompanied by other officials, have inspected the project to ascertain its progress. During the riding test of the railway line, Musoke expressed his satisfaction for the work done by the contractor.
90%. As you saw, we have been doing test runs right from Namamve to Mukono to ensure that everything is right in place. As you recall, we removed all the steel sleepers and replaced them with concrete sleepers. So this is our first run to test the stability and the works which have been ongoing right from Namamve to Mukono. Basically, the line is not for passenger train only, but even cargo train. But I know because we have been saying we are going to move passenger trains from Kampala to Mukono, those points which we call hold stations are going to be put in there.
He, however, cited the hiccups in the project execution.
the working capital issues. Like as we are supposed to earn the money to run the organization, the closures of the line are affecting us greatly. The intrusions or the interruptions by like the encroachers, all these need money for the activity of the victim. Then the equipment. If the line is okay and stable, we need more engines, we need locomotives, we need passenger coaches.
Imathia Construction Company, the contractor, are preparing to hand over the project after completion.
We're very proud to finish this project. That is the refurbishment in between Campala, Namambe and Mukono. They have now concrete sleepers.
Still going to look at the snags and see what is remaining so that a certificate is issued. And this railway line will be launched very, very soon.
Despite the less percent left to complete the project, there is negligence among the local community on risk management.
Evicting them. They already are aware that they are in the rail corridor and it is a danger to humans and maybe animals.
We have to do more sensitization of the communities to tell them the disadvantages of walking on the line. In terms of technical expertise, there's nothing much we can do other than having signages maybe placed at particular locations, especially at level crossings.
I'm Ivan Juko and Dan Lukomwa for UBC.
Last week, the Directorate of Traffic and Road Safety reported 271 injuries and 64 deaths, including those from hit-and-run incidents. The rampant accidents have prompted the Directorate to enhance nationwide traffic operations to safeguard all road users. Michael Kananra, the traffic police spokesperson, sheds some light on the grim statistics.
If you are involved in a road crash in which someone is injured, you must give your name and address, and the name and the address of the vehicle owner, if different, to any person involved. And you must report the crash to the nearest police station or to any police officer not later than 24 hours after the time of the crash, as required by the law. It is important for you to warn other vehicles by switching on your hazard warning lights. Those are double indicators, and if you are driving a motor vehicle. And if necessary, wave to other drivers to slow down. It is also your duty to control traffic so as to avoid further crashes. Do not steal from the victims and discourage everyone else from doing the same. And do not also take the law into your hands and discourage others from doing mob justice. Arrange for the police to be called immediately, and you should be able to state the location, the number of the vehicle, and the injured persons involved in the crash. It is also important for you to prepare to give first aid. If the injuries are serious and there is little chance of getting help quickly, make arrangements to take the injured to the nearest hospital or clinic.
We thank you so much for watching. At this point, we'll take a short break. On return, we have more. Please keep it with us.
The Uganda National Oil Company, UNOC, is wholly owned by the government of Uganda and was established to safeguard and promote Uganda's commercial interests in the petroleum sector. UNOC has two subsidiaries, the Uganda Refinery Holding Company, Yoweri, which will hold a 40% stake in the 60,000 barrel per day refinery and manage the development of Kabalega Industrial Park, and the National Pipeline Company Limited, NPC, in charge of pipelines, storage, and downstream business ventures. This subsidiary holds 15% interest in the East African Crude Oil Pipeline, EACOP. EACOP is a 1,445-kilometer long pipeline that will transport crude oil through 10 districts in Uganda to the port of Tanga in Tanzania. UNOC is also actively engaged in crude oil exploration, development, and production activities, and its participation role includes a 15% stake in the Tilenga, Nwoya, and Bulisa and Kingfisher development projects, Chikure. UNOC also holds the exploration license for Kasuruban Block in Hoima, Bulisa, and Masindi. UNOC currently owns and manages the Ginger Storage Terminal and will build a 320 million litre capacity terminal in MPG called the Kampala Storage Terminal. At UNOC, we're harnessing the potential of Uganda's petroleum resources, forging a sustainable future and preserving the natural beauty of Uganda. UNOC, your partner in Uganda's oil and gas industry.
Amanya gange nze Namutebi Sharon nga nkolera wano wennyini Saka Kirombe oba Makindye. Empangula gye nawanguddemu ssente mbadde nga nkozesa mobile money nga nsindika school fees w'omwana ku ssomero. Okutegeera nti mpangudde nze mutima neegambye nti kambalinde bamale okujja ndyoke nzikirize nti mpangudde. Kyennyinza okubagamba nti si byabafere weewaawo abafere gye bali naye ennamba eri emu yokka era bw'eba ekukubidde omanye eyo si yabafere. Mpulira bulungi nnyo era ndi musanyufu nnyo. Naye MTN mobile money mbebaza nnyo mwebale nnyo mwebalire.
Together we're unstoppable.
Once upon a time, there lived identical twins who gave birth to beautiful princes and princesses.
Their mothers gave their babies' bodies a lot of care by applying on their skin with baby junior jelly.
Though dried their chariots and everyone would admire their glowing skin. Fun fact, baby junior prevents diaper rash, dry and sensitive skin.
Moms all over Africa love baby junior jelly. Baby junior's the skin. No more worries anymore. Baby junior.
Baby junior.
Gold. We all want it. That soft yellow glow of the subdued sun in your hands. That precious polish of elegance. To hold it is one thing, but to taste it is everything else. Relish the satisfying taste of a beer, unmatched in quality, unmatched in consistency, and with 23 Global Gold Awards. A beer unmatched in gold.
We thank you so much for watching and welcome back from the break. Buganda Kingdom has counties and each has got a chief appointed by the Kabaka himself. These chiefs handle issues affecting Kabaka's subjects at the county level, represent the problems of the people they serve in Buganda Kingdom Assembly, promote and guide Kabaka's subjects on developmental programs initiated by the Kabaka and his political administration, administrative wing led by the Katikiro, in this case, the Prime Minister to the Kingdom. In this special report, Andrew Sebira looks at the roles of the clan chiefs in repositioning Buganda ahead of the 31st coronation of Kabaka Ronald Mwenda Mutebi II as the reigning king of Buganda Kingdom.
Buganda Kingdom, one of the oldest kingdoms in Uganda, advanced preparations for the 31st coronation anniversary of its reigning king, Kabaka Ronald Mwenda Mutebi II. Despite his 31st coronation anniversary as reigning Kabaka on the throne, the role of county chiefs towards holding the kingdom is central to the success of the kingdom and the strength of any reigning Kabaka. But what are some of the roles played by county chiefs in the kingdom of Buganda? We spoke to Pokino, the Wudu county chief, former chairperson of Chiefs Jude Moleke and Kago, Chadondo County Chief, about their roles in repositioning Buganda Kingdom. However, their roles are derived from the guidelines they secure from their kingdom headquarters.
I would like to thank the Katikkiro of Buganda, through whom the voice of the Kabaka comes to us, the Abamasaza and other leaders at the other levels. The voice of the Katikkiro, it is the sole voice that we follow because it comes directly from the Kabaka. And I would like to encourage everyone to heed, to listen to that voice.
On the other hand, their performance towards the economic empowerment of Kabaka's subjects is determined by developmental programs seeking to uplift the standards and livelihoods of the people in the kingdom. A case in point, the Mwanye Terimba, a campaign drive geared at rallying Kabaka's subjects to plant coffee as a weapon to fight poverty in the kingdom.
I would like to request the Baganda and those people who believe in the Kabaka to trust the Katikkiro, because every development program goes through him down to the village. I would like to request everyone to work together. I would like to ask everyone to hold together. You remember we have 5-point programs in Uganda, but the 5th point program is unity. Let us try to hold to that. It is what will bring us to another level, to bring Buganda to where it was.
On 31st July 2023, when the kingdom celebrated the 30th coronation of their reigning Kabaka Ronald Mutebi II, His Majesty appealed to the youth in the habit of selling land and abandoning their villages to cities to ride commercial motorbikes to stop and focus on agriculture.
Abavubuka tubaagala nnyo era mutulaze omukwano n'obwagazi era mmwe essuubi lya Buganda. Wabula twagadde okubalabula ku nsonga nga bbiri. Ensonga esooka, temuva mu byalo era temutunda ttaka lyammwe. Gumuyikiriza n'okukola ennyo, tujja kubayamba okubatuusaako enkulaakulana eyo yonna gye muli.
With this clarion call to his subjects, Pokino says, since then, subjects have listened and adhered to His Majesty's advice.
It is clear that when the Kabaka says, everyone will follow. There is no doubt. You remember very well during the COVID-19 pandemic, people were trying to evade from being immunized. But when the Kabaka voiced out the message that everyone should go for immunization, everyone went, including myself.
In the past, Buganda Kingdom has had a relationship with the central government. However, speaking in an interview, Pokino revealed that a lot has been done to amend the working relationship between the two institutions.
The central government has always brought programs through the Kingdom of Buganda. That means that they well know that the Kabaka is respected. And you remember, there have been some mistreatments against the youth, against different persons in Uganda. And the Kabaka has been always coming up to talk about them, to promote human rights. And different agencies, the security agencies, have been listening that voice. It therefore means that the Kabaka is respected, and it is no doubt Kabaka is our leader, and we should always continue to work with him.
The strength of Buganda Kingdom at the helm of Uganda's political history is defined by the reality and respect the Buganda people attach to their reigning Kabaka, irrespective of whatever times of inconveniences at play.
People respect, people trust their Kabaka. It doesn't matter whether you are Muganda or as long as you are here, everyone respects the Kabaka. That's the truth.
Whereas Kabaka Ronald Mutebi's 31 years on the throne as reigning king has been shrouded with challenges, on the other hand, a lot of positive milestones have been achieved in the education, health and economic sectors.
You can visibly see what the developments the Kabaka has brought to the people of Buganda and Uganda at large. You can look into the health sector. Hospitals have been constructed, like in Iwudu, in Isingo, in Chagwe. There are hospitals that have been constructed. There are already those hospitals that have been already established, like in Busiro, in Insanji, already they are there.
Despite Kyadondo County hosting most of the coronations for the reigning Kabaka Ronald Mutebi II, the Kyadondo chief rallied the subjects of Kabaka to remain united to achieve their set targets of the kingdom.
Ebituukiddwako mu mwaka guno oba n'emyaka egiyise bingi nnyo biyitirivu kubanga kubimu ku bituukiddwako tusobodde okubeera nti tuweereza abantu ba Kabaka ekisookera ddala twenyigidde mu byobulamu ng'ebyokujjanjaba abantu tusobodde okudduka emisinde gya Kabaka omwaka guno era omulamu wange bwemugumanyidde guba gwakulwanyisa Mukenenya ng'ekimanyisa Ssaabasajja Kabaka ye munyenye oba ye muduumizi omukulu ku lukalu lwa Afirika mu kulwanyisa endwadde ya Mukenenya era omwaka guno tusinze guteeka kulwanyisa Mukenenya tusobodde okukola emikolo gyonna oba ebintu byonna Kabaka byatulagira okukola weewaawo ng'oluusi abadde taliiwo ne tusobodde okubikola.
Unity and economic empowerment of the people of Uganda Kingdom remains the major responsibility and assignments to the county chiefs in the kingdom. As the Uganda Kingdom prepares for the 31st coronation celebrations, the reigning Kabaka Ronald Mutebi II on the throne.
I encourage you to participate in the celebrations of the 31 years of his leadership well, in unity, in joy, and let us always hold together for a greater Buganda.
The celebrations will be held under the theme, Our Unity is a Strength of Our Monarch. Mary Namkose, Andrew Sebida, UBC News.
The mood is somber at the home of the late former Member of Parliament, Aleper Simon Peter in Kayole, Napak district, as mourners gather to pay respects to the son of the soil. The late Aleper will be buried on Tuesday, that's tomorrow, on the 30th of July 2024 in Napak, Karamoja sub-region.
This is the mood at the late Aleper Simon Peter's home since last evening when his body arrived home. Medical officers have been deployed at the home to care for mourners. Grieving locals have bid farewell to the son of the soil through public body viewing.
I think we have loved him more at death than we did when he was alive. Because now we have realized that we had a jewel we did not utilize adequately. We had a resource in him. So that's why you see the pain in here.
Legislators, opinion and religious leaders are also present.
He has gone too early. We were beginning to enjoy the good deeds, his focus. We were beginning to see his passion and his focus for the region. And he was available, invested his time, invested his resources into building the unity of the Karamoja people.
The little support that the family, the NRM party has been extending to the late will also be extended to the family.
Senior NRM party officials, some of whom sat with the late in the party's top management organ, are already in Napak.
Simon Peter is going to be missed. But of course we learn from him, one, being selfless, knowing what people want, and advocating for what people want. You see, Uganda is a big country with very many interests from different areas. But he spoke passionately about Karamoja. He spoke vehemently about Karamoja.
I thought my friend Gaddafi is almost gone because he could bring us and we talk on issues that can develop this country, even in 10 years or 20 years ahead. So, really, I feel pain.
The untimely death of the politician is a big blow to Karamoja sub-region.
Poverty has been widely spread in this region, more so because of the wars that our people have been in. But and being an orphan, that people have said, we've heard from all the leaders of the region that he has grown up as an orphan. But to rise above the odds and to get to the level where he was, I think it was hard work and determination. And as I said earlier, he is the North and the people of Karamoja and Uganda, Africa has lost a great son.
Tuesday, 30th July 2024, mourners will convene at Kayole Boys Playground for the requiem service before burial later on in the day.
And then immediately service will begin at 9:30. Service will last for 2 hours. Immediately after service, then we will allow people to lay wreaths for 30 minutes.
Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Predict the outcome of 10 football games and win big with tickets at only 500 shillings. Play for this Friday's draw to stand a chance to win big with Sports Stake 10.
Buy your tickets at authorized shops on nationallottery.go.ug to download the app or simply dial *278#.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
Where does it come from? That thing that makes us Ugandan. Some say it's in our history, in our culture, and in our hearts, in our warm smiles and vast miles of coffee. It's in our inherent pursuit to always be better, to never stop growing and glowing. We are a nation of sweat and skills, a nation of ideas and inventions. But what truly makes us Ugandan is our quest to invest in agribusiness, manufacturing, tourism, infrastructure, health and education to improve the quality of life of Ugandans. That's what makes us Uganda Development Bank.
We can do better.
Uganda Development Bank, inspiring development.
We thank you so much for watching and welcome back from the break. It's now business news time. Uganda Communications Commission has nominated a 10-member artificial intelligence task force comprising of staff and members of the academia. The task force is tasked with developing a concept note to advise government on AI policy adoption. This comes in the wake of rapid global adoption and utilization of the AI in various key sectors to undertake tasks more efficiently.
Executive Director of the Uganda Communications Commission has highlighted Uganda's urgency in adopting AI laws to enable the smooth regulation of the technology that is already being extensively used within the country.
The problem is that the challenges have been louder. People are talking about the challenges more than the benefits, which is very, very dangerous, which means that maybe we haven't understood exactly what this is. So our experts should assist us, looking at other jurisdictions. What are these quick wins we can really start on immediately and start advising people?
The members nominated to the expert committee include Micheal as the chairman, along with Ronald Bakachimpa, Geoffrey Sengendo, Engineer Rebecca Mayanja, Joseph Kizito, Dr. Abdul Salam Waiswa, Arnold Mujuni, Rebecca Mukite, Medikagwa, Professor Jude Lubega, Dr. Drake Mirembe, Dr. Joyce Nakatamba Nabende, Dr. Hilary Kasede, and Dr. Saith Mugume.
We're not too late, and if you look around the region, there are not so many countries that have AI policies or AI strategies. So I don't think we are too late, but also, like we heard from the ED, I think it's a field that we should passionately be pursuing. Not only the downsides that we have seen about AI, but how do we then turn every opportunity that comes with into benefiting us as a sector, but also as a country.
This task force has been given 3 months starting July to October 2024 to develop a concept note which should stipulate legal, regulatory, technical, ethical and best practice recommendations to the government before proposing a bill that should later become a law.
So speaking as someone from academia, I want to really thank the ED for embracing the role of academia in the regulatory processes. And this is not something you do because I'm from academia. This is something you do because that's what you're so passionate about, and reaching out to academia and having this opportunity. So for my colleagues from academia, please, the door has been opened. Let's make it wide. In other words, let's do the best job possible so that it will be a no-brainer whenever they are having issues here. It will not even be the ED. All the directors will be saying, on my team, please, I need academia, I need academia. So,
in a virtual meeting in June this year, African ICT ministers approved the Continental Artificial Intelligence Strategy and the African Digital Compact to enhance digital transformations across Africa by leveraging AI for development. Wadulo Mark Arnold for UBC News in Kampala.
As Uganda prepares to have its first oil by 2025, researchers from Makerere University Development for Initiative Center have conducted a field visit to the districts of Hoima, Bulisa and Chikube to bridge the gap between academic research and practical applications. Researchers recommend that a lot needs to be done to conserve the environment through tree planting to absorb carbon emissions.
Researchers from Environment for Development Initiative from Makerere University are on a familiarization tour in the Albertine Graben to enable academia and research fellows familiarize with activities and operations in Uganda's oil and gas sector, with the view of fostering researchable projects, constructive dialogue and policy development on environmental risk management and responsible oil and gas operations in the sensitive ecosystem of Lake Albert and Murchison.
And so there must be concerted effort, deliberate efforts to ensure that the environment is catered for in terms of vegetation cover. I think you've observed that much of the vegetation has been removed to allow the different infrastructure to be implemented. So I only hope that there will be a deliberate plan to put up some vegetation cover in areas where we don't have these facilities, so that the environment will not suffer a lot of stress as a result of the developments in oil.
Since oil extraction comes with the negative effects of climate change, waste treatment plants like the Luero Industries Waste Treatment Plant are established to recycle waste products from oil extractions.
We have 2 thermal desorption units that handle the solid waste. So basically what happens there is we heat this waste to 700 degrees. And at that temperature, the base oil and the water vaporize out of it. So the base oil is sent back to Sinok for use. The wastewater is taken to the water treatment facility, and the solid material is taken to the landfill for stabilization.
Researchers also noted the need to implement resilient and adaptation of biodiversity conservation impacts on environment and water resource management to mitigate the effects of climate change.
And I also noticed that Sinok has tried to plant trees, but the efforts are being frustrated by browsing by livestock. So I think there is a need to have a clear understanding between the communities to ensure that what is done as regreening the area succeeds.
But as you know, these fossil fuels are dirty technologies which produce a lot of carbon. So we are trying to see, because remember, there is no way for us at the Environment for Development, we can say, no, we have to preserve environment, there is no need of exploiting our resources, no. But how can we exploit our resources in such a way that carbons are reduced, carbons are minimized?
Interdisciplinary research was also emphasized, noting that informed research will contribute to sustainable planning in maximizing the benefits of Uganda's oil and gas resources to aid policy development. Sada Mubale, UBC News.
Day 3 of the Paris 2024 Olympics has come and gone, with Uganda witnessing a plethora of activities.
Rower Catherine Noble continued her competition at the Paris 2024 Olympics with a second-place finish that elevated her to the E-final this Friday. It will, however, be her last race for Uganda because she has hinted on retiring after representing Uganda twice and historically back-to-back at the Olympics. But as Noble declares her next move, a career-defining moment awaits Gloria Muzito, who enters the fray this Tuesday in the 100-meter freestyle at the La Defense Arena.
I think we're very ready. Gloria swims tomorrow, and I'm very excited to watch her and support her. She seems like she's been feeling good. Obviously, the entirety of Team Uganda is behind her and supporting her, so it should be great.
Jesse Sengunzi has till Friday to go in the 100-meter butterfly.
Today we were working on dives or starts specifically with my race costume on. The reason why we needed to practice this is because tech suits compress your muscles, so your position on the block might change slightly. So the two things we were figuring out was how to get my leg kick up so my dive was balanced, and how far I needed to do or how many kicks I needed to do to get to 15 meters, because it adjusts slightly when you're wearing a practice suit versus a race suit.
Cyclist Charles Kajimu, who races on Saturday in the 75-kilometer road race, is also in exuberant mode.
Yeah, we are just been on the route so far. Yeah, I'm taking everything story by story, waiting for Saturday.
The athletics team arrival created buzz around the Uganda team camp in the Games Village located in the northern Paris city of St. Denis.
Now, being an Olympian is something good, though it takes a lot of sacrifice. So my word to them is just let them keep focused, let them keep on working hard. There is nothing hard. No human is limited. So the sky is even the sky is never the limit. In fact, the sky is the beginning of everything.
4 athletes and their coaches and psychotherapists arrived. The athletes include Esther Chebet, Joy Cheptoyek, and Belinda Chemtai, who the women's 500-meter round won on Friday.
I know it has not been easy for me to qualify for Olympics, but it was just through God's grace that I made it to this Olympics. And I trusted the training that I've been doing with my coach, and I trusted also on God. That's why I made it to Olympics 2024 Paris.
The team that also included 10,000-meter runner Martin Sengengo Kiprotich arrived during lunch hour and enjoyed a meal in the French of this gigantic dining hall. The athletics team continued its arrival on Tuesday with Joshua Cheptegei, Jacob Kiprimo, Perth Chemtai, Tassis Ologot, Halima Nakai, and Winnie Nanyondo. John Bansentamu compiled this report.
Zimbabwe won their first Rugby Africa Men's Cup in 12 years. Sunday afternoon, beating Algeria 29-3 at Nambole Stadium. Algeria had reached their first final on the back of impressive wins over Ivory Coast and Kenya, while the Sabos were chasing their second title, having last won the competition in 2012. Zimbabwe rose to their task and were deserved winners on the day, scoring 4 tries without conceding any in reply. Tournament hosts Uganda took 5th place after thrilling 34-31 win over Senegal. Uganda will move above Kenya in 36th, having climbed a place over the course of a week when the rankings are updated. Ivory Coast beat Burkina Faso 23-10 to win the 7th place playoff, but they will still be 6 places worse off in the rankings in the 62nd.
Of course, congratulations to Team Zimbabwe, the new champions of the champions of the new Rugby Africa Cup. That is Zimbabwe. And congratulations to Uganda as well, that finished on the 50th position. Congratulations to Zimbabwe, the new champions. That is a beautiful one. I would imagine this if it was Team Uganda.
And they have carried home the Holy Grail. But from each and every one of us at Rugby Africa, from Ibrahim, from David.
Okay, being the champions, this one, how big are you guys?
Very stressful, but
that is all we had for you at this point. We'll get back to you at 10 p.m. with another arrangement. UBC News Tonight. My name is Micheal Jordan Lukomwa. Let's catch you then. Keep it with us. Enjoy the next program.